Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. And welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Compliance auditing is a critical part of a CISO's responsibilities in demonstrating that an organization's security program aligns with applicable legal, regulatory, and internal requirements. Through structured evaluation, compliance audits validate whether required controls are implemented, enforced, and functioning effectively. These audits help uncover weaknesses in control implementation, process deficiencies in areas of non-compliance that may otherwise remain undetected. Compliance audits support risk management by identifying systemic issues before they become security incidents. They also reinforce governance by providing stakeholders with independent assurance that security activities are meeting expected standards. For external parties, including regulators, partners, and customers, audit reports serve as defensible evidence that the organization is following recognized security practices. Finally, compliance audits drive continuous improvement by informing updates to policies, controls, and processes that improve the overall maturity of the security program. CISOs must be familiar with key frameworks that drive compliance auditing activities across various sectors. ISO/IEC 27001 is a global standard for information security management systems and is widely used in certification audits. It requires organizations to demonstrate that policies, controls, and practices meet its prescribed requirements and that they are maintained as part of a continuous improvement cycle. NIST Special Publication 853 and the NIST Risk Management Framework are foundational for U.S. federal systems and contractors, offering detailed control catalogs aligned with risk levels. PCI DSS is mandatory for any organization processing or storing payment card information. Its 12 control areas are the basis for structured security audits and include requirements for encryption, access control, and monitoring. The HIPAA security rule applies to healthcare entities and defines requirements for protecting electronic protected health information. COBIT, developed by ISACA, provides governance-focused control objectives for managing IT processes, offering a high-level structure that maps well to other frameworks. These frameworks serve different purposes, but CISOs must be able to navigate and harmonize them to meet enterprise and sector-specific obligations. Auditing standards and guidelines provide the structure and consistency needed for evaluating compliance. ISACA's auditing standards are commonly used by professional auditors when evaluating IT controls. These standards help ensure audits are planned, executed, and reported in a consistent and ethical manner. The AICPA's SSAE 18 standard supports audits that result in SOC reports. SOC 1 reports focus on internal controls over financial reporting, while SOC 2 reports assess controls related to security, availability, confidentiality, processing integrity, and privacy. SOC 3 reports are general use summaries of SOC 2 findings. The Institute of Internal Auditors publishes the International Professional Practices Framework, which outlines best practices for conducting internal audits across all domains. ISO 9011 provides auditing guidance specifically for management systems, including how to conduct interviews, select samples, and evaluate conformity. For federal agencies, the Federal Information System Controls Audit Manual provides detailed expectations for auditing information systems under USS law. Understanding these standards allows CISOs to better prepare their teams, support auditors, and interpret audit outcomes. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Mapping controls to auditing frameworks is an important task for audit readiness. Organizations often follow multiple frameworks and must align their internal control sets to meet each one's expectations. Control mapping involves identifying how each internal control satisfies one or more requirements from external frameworks. Mapping tools and crosswalk matrices help visualize overlaps and identify gaps. This harmonization allows organizations to reduce the audit burden by demonstrating compliance with multiple frameworks through shared controls. Control applicability must be documented across different domains, showing how a specific policy or safeguard addresses requirements in ISO 27001, PCI DSS, and HIPAA simultaneously. Maintaining traceability from audit objectives to implemented controls ensures that auditors can quickly locate evidence and understand the rationale behind control design. This traceability also supports regulatory defense, especially when questioned about the adequacy of the organization's security measures. It is important to understand the distinction between internal and external audits. Internal audits are typically conducted by teams within the organization or by contracted internal auditors. Their focus is on continuous improvement, risk mitigation, and readiness for external assessments. Internal audits often have more flexibility in scope and timing and may be used to test emerging controls, evaluate new policies, or respond to past findings. External audits, by contrast, are conducted by independent third parties. Their goal is to verify compliance with a specific regulation, certification standard, or contractual obligation. CISOs play a central role in both types of audits. They coordinate with audit teams, manage document requests, and ensure accurate representation of the security program. The level of documentation and evidence required for external audits is typically higher, and independence must be preserved. Managing communication, expectations, and stakeholder involvement for both internal and external audits is a core executive function. Preparation is a major success factor for compliance audits. Audit scope must be clearly defined, including which systems, departments, and control domains are in view. Objectives should be confirmed with the auditor, and stakeholders should be assigned to support each area. The organization must review relevant policies, control documentation, past audit findings, and remediation progress. Mock audits and readiness assessments help identify gaps and give the team a chance to practice delivering evidence and answering questions. Evidence must be current, organized, and mapped to specific control objectives. This ensures that documentation can be retrieved quickly during interviews or walkthroughs. Preparing stakeholders, such as IT teams, HR staff, or legal representatives, is also essential. These individuals may be interviewed by auditors and must understand their roles and the relevant controls. Early engagement reduces stress and increases confidence across the organization. When the audit begins, the CISO and security teams support auditors through the data collection and review process. This includes answering questions, demonstrating controls, and facilitating walkthroughs. The CISO must be able to explain the intent of each control, how it is implemented, and who is responsible for its operation. It is important not to speculate or overstate capabilities. Auditors rely on evidence, not assumptions. If a question cannot be answered immediately, it is better to refer to documentation or schedule a follow-up than to guess. Evidence must be provided in formats accepted by the auditors, which may include screenshots, reports, policies, or system logs. All submissions should be logged, creating a detailed audit trail of responses. This documentation supports transparency and can help resolve discrepancies later. Supporting the audit with professionalism, accuracy, and timely follow-up builds trust and increases the likelihood of a favorable outcome. Audit findings must be addressed systematically. Once findings are categorized by severity, risk domain, or business impact, owners must be assigned for remediation. Every finding should have a documented action plan with timelines, resources, and dependencies identified. These plans must be tracked actively, with progress updates shared regularly with executive sponsors. Delays or roadblocks should be escalated to governance forums for resolution. Audit findings are not just checklist items. They provide insight into systemic weaknesses and help drive improvement. Lessons learned from findings should be incorporated into updated policies, revised training, and redesigned controls. This feedback loop ensures that audit results lead to real change, not just surface-level responses. Post-remediation reviews confirm that fixes were implemented effectively and that risks have been reduced. Audit results must be communicated to executives in a clear, actionable format. High-level summaries, supported by visual tools like dashboards and heat maps, help executives quickly grasp key issues. Compliance scores or risk ratings can indicate overall posture, while red into green indicators highlight which areas require immediate attention. Reports should identify which findings have strategic implications, such as those related to financial reporting, regulatory exposure, or customer trust. Audit results should be integrated into broader governance processes. This includes updating the risk register, refining policies, and shaping future control investments. By connecting audit feedback to governance, CISOs reinforce the link between operational activities and strategic oversight. Accountability for improvements should be assigned across business units, not left solely to the security team. The CISO exam includes topics that test knowledge of auditing frameworks, audit preparation, and remediation processes. Candidates should be familiar with standards such as ISO 27001, NIST SP 853, PCI DSS, HIPAA, and COBIT. Scenario-based questions may involve planning an audit, responding to findings, or justifying control decisions to auditors. The exam focuses on the CISO's role as a strategic leader, someone who ensures audit alignment with risk and governance objectives, facilitates smooth communication between technical and business teams, and uses audit data to support executive decisions. Understanding key terms such as audit trail, control mapping, material weakness, and scope will also help candidates interpret questions correctly. By mastering audit processes, CISO candidates demonstrate that they can guide the organization through compliance reviews with confidence, integrity, and effectiveness. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.